Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to this session. Today, we'll be discussing basically about the prospects of pharmacy-related courses in a lot of countries abroad. So, just to give you guys a brief about Imperial, so we are Imperial Overseas. We have been into this field of training and counseling for the past 8 to 10 years now, and we have been successful in sending a lot of students abroad. And when it comes to your field specifically, we have also sent a lot of students in pharmacy related courses as well. So we are waiting for few more students to join in, and then we'll start this session.
We'll start in the next couple of minutes, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, Akshay sir, we can start.
Okay. So hello everyone. Good evening again. Thank you all for joining this session. So this session is basically related. We'll be discussing the scope, the job, COVID-19 impact, and everything related to pharmacy related courses abroad. So let's start with first. We'll be discussing the country options. Now, when we specifically talk about country option, here we'll be understanding like how is pharmacy across the globe. At the right side, you can see a lot of countries here which are mentioned. We'll be discussing each of the following countries in detail. First, I would like to introduce the panelists. We have Hiren sir here. Hiren sir is basically the business head for USA at Imperial. So he have been guiding students for the past 10 years now. He's himself a Clemson University graduate from the US. We have Sonali ma'am here. Sonali ma'am is basically the lead counselor for Canada at Imperial. She will be taking you through the details about pharmacy in Canada. We have Kiran ma'am here. She heads basically the Australia, New Zealand domain. We have Banit sir. Banit sir will be taking you through basically through the finances and all the impact of COVID-19 and all those things. Banit sir is basically the CEO of Imperial. And then my name is Akshay Bhandari. I'm basically the lead counselor for Europe at Imperial. So let's get started. Hiren sir, how about pharmacy in the
We
United
have
States?
Ankur sir as well.
Yeah, we have Ankur sir here. Ankur sir is basically the head of training at Imperial. Ankur sir has also been into this counseling field for past 10 years now. Yes. So, Hiren sir, how about pharmacy in the United States?
Yeah, so thank you, Akshay sir, for the introduction. Good evening, guys. I'm Hiren Rathod here. I could see the attendees. Some of you would be knowing us, some of you are new for us. It's all okay. I'll give you a brief background. I've completed my bachelor's from Sardar Patel College of Engineering in Mumbai, and post that I've completed my master's from Clemson University in the US. and I have been doing this for what, around 10 years. I have been guiding and training students for education abroad along with the team, obviously, that you see here, and other members as well. See, guys, now pharmacy in the US, there is a lot of more than idea. People have misconceptions about pharmacy in the US. They are like, सर फार्म डी करेगा क्या, कि सर बैचलर्स करेगा क्या, सर मास्टर्स करेंगे क्या, मास्टर्स करेंगे तो क्या होगा, लाइसेंस का क्या होगा, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. Too many questions in too many people's mind, and this is a question not only in your mind for USA, but it happens for different countries as well. Okay. uh, my assumption here right now, the audience that I am interacting with, we are interacting with right now, are mostly people who are doing their bachelor of pharmacy in India or have completed their bachelor of pharmacy in India. So for you, there are different options available for master's level in the US. Okay. uh, I mean, as you can see the statistics, job wise, if you look at it, there are n number of jobs available. The salary wise also, if you look at it, then there are, I mean, a good amount of salary. So if you ask me personally, any pharmacy graduate student who gets a master of pharmacy degree in the US, today's day average draws around 70, $80,000 US dollars per annum easily. Any individual who has done a PhD in anything to do with pharmacy can draw 90, 100, 110, or even $120,000 per annum very easily. That is no problem, absolutely no problem at all. And all these things can be done even without getting a license for pharmacy in the US. This is even without license. So that's the misconception that we're talking about here, right? Ki sir, license chahiye kya? Like in India, once you're done with the BPharm degree, you get the license. You That is sorted for you guys. I mean, it's inbuilt in your curriculum at many places. In the US, it's not that way. Mostly you have a DPharm degree, then the license part becomes clear for you. But that's again not the case. Even with a master of pharmacy degree or fields related to pharmacy, like you can take pharmacology, you can take regulatory affairs, drug regulatory affairs, you can take clinical research, okay, you can take toxicology, you can take cosmetology. I mean, any of the field you go for, you have to understand one thing, that mostly these fields are research oriented fields. Okay. When you go for something like a pharmacy admin or a pharma management, these are not research oriented fields as such. These are more of techno managerial fields available for you. These are more to do with the planning and execution of any process of drug delivery or drug manufacturing. Okay. So that is what is taught in different courses. We have to understand the different courses, which will come on in the later slides. But these are, I mean, the opportunities available for you. You take up any of these courses, for you to get a job in the future is not at all difficult in the US. And the thing is, you guys, whenever you're going to the US, go with an open mind. I'm not saying that ऐसे ही करना है, but the idea is go with an open mind कि अगर अगर आपको आपके MS डिग्री को वहां पे PhD में कन्वर्ट करना है, या आपको चांस मिलता है कन्वर्ट करने का, my personal opinion would be to do it. Obviously, it depends on you if you are ready for it or not ready for it. But many of our pharmacy students who have gone for the master's degree in the past to the US, uh, trust me, roughly, I mean, 50 to 60% of them have converted their master's degree into a PhD over there. Again, it's not a hard and fast rule कि आपको वो करना ही करना है, but you can actually convert your master into PhD, and there is a good chance you can even apply for a direct PhD from here. How to go about it, वगैरह वगैरह, we'll discuss in the later slides, but these are the options available for you. So Akshay sir, you can continue this further.
Okay, thank you, Hiren sir. So student, this was basically about the United States. Now let's discuss about the prospects and how pharmacy courses looks like in Canada. Yes, Sonali
Sure.
ma'am, how about the prospects for pharmacy in Canada?
Yes, so pharmacy in Canada is one of the domains which is most opted by international students, comes into very popular courses in Canada. Of course, that is majorly because the kind of opportunities that are available in the country. Now, pharmacy falls into one of the 29 high demand occupations in Canada, which means there are great job prospects when it comes to jobs related to pharmacy. The drug requirement, now this it falls into the 29 high demand occupation because the drug requirement for the aging Canadian population, most of the Canadian population is aging, and the drug requirements for that and spike in the demands of postgraduates in pharmacy within the industry is rising. Surprisingly, the number of graduates that are there in Canada have remained the same, but the supply has gone up. So to meet that, the gap, there are more number of there are pharmacy students which are required in more number every year in Canada. As we see some statistics over here, the Canadian pharmaceutical market is set to grow from 22 billion in the statistic, if we see in 2016 was around 22 billion, and it is set to grow up to 25 billion by 2021, which is a huge jump that they're taking. So this is another great thing to look at. Secondly, according to if you could just go to the next slide, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So 94% of the Canadians think that favorably, they think of the pharmacist as an equal as to a physician who recommends medications. So 94% of Canadians are quite comfortable with the idea of the pharmacist, prescribing medicines to them, and they think of them as an equal to a healthcare professional. Secondly, pharmacy is one sought after degree in the healthcare industry in Canada. So since Canada is home to around 14 Nobel Prize winning scientists, and in different fields ranging from science and medicine, the kind of programs that Canada provides in these fields are more favored, and certainly the job opportunities are definitely good for these kind of courses. So anything related to healthcare, at the end, healthcare, pharmacy, medicine is quite good in Canada. There are the kind of faculty that will be interacting with, the kind of programs that are introduced are quite equivalent to what the demand is, and the industry standard. So that is another thing. Pharmaceutical related career opportunities are quite huge in Canada due to the shortages, as I spoke about, since the number of graduates have remained the same as compared to the demand. So to meet those in different settings, including hospitals, research centers, and given the present situation where we are in right now, healthcare professionals are in huge demand in every country that we talk about. It's just not Canada, every country. And pharmacists do really have a major role to play in with the drug trials and clinical trials coming into picture, the research coming into picture. So these are the sectors where they are required. So certainly the prospects look good, not just now, but in the future as well. So yeah, students can start thinking about and planning about courses related to the pharmacy sector again. We'll come to the requirement licensing part. Let's explore other countries first.
Sure. Thank you, Sonali ma'am. Let's move on to the next country, Australia and New Zealand. So Kiran ma'am, what are the prospects of pharmacy in Australia and New Zealand?
Yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening to all the students who've joined us. My name is Kiran. I am the director at Imperial Overseas, and I also look after Australia and New Zealand counseling. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Akshay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm going to be covering about Australia and New Zealand collectively. So pharmacy, of course, is a part of the healthcare programs in Australia and New Zealand, and healthcare sector in Australia and New Zealand is at a very advanced stage. When you look at most countries in the world, Australia and New Zealand are known for extremely sophisticated healthcare system, and it also shows in the way they have handled the COVID pandemic. As mentioned in the slide, that healthcare sector is one of the highest employers in both Australia and New Zealand, and there are close to 1.5 million people employed in the healthcare sector in Australia, and close to about 1 million in New Zealand. So it is one of the highest, employment sector in both these countries. It is also one of the most trusted professions in Australia behind doctors and nurses. So after these two professions, pharmacy graduates are the most in demand and trusted professionals. 1 out of every 3 jobs in Australia and New Zealand is from the healthcare industry. So that just says a lot about the kind of job opportunities that the country has. And there is basically the demand and the wage for pharmacy graduates is increasing steadily, and it is one of the highest paid sectors, with an average salary of about 88 to 93,000 Australian dollars per annum, which is one of the highest, because generally for engineers, for business grads, for MBA grads, it's somewhere around $75,000. But for pharmacy grads, it's much higher. And once you have completed your pharmacy degree, your master's in pharmacy, you do have to meet the licensing requirements, which we will come to later. But in general, if I have to talk about Australia and New Zealand for pharmacy graduates, and of course we'll come to the kind of programs that are available. These two countries are pretty good destinations, especially for those who are looking at staying long term, especially for people who are looking at getting a permanent residency, because that's a very likely thing to happen. If you're doing your master's from there, it is very likely that you will be able to get your PR in one of these countries. So we'll come to much more details in the slides to come.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Now, talking about basically the pharmacy related fields in UK and Ireland. So when it comes
Akshay
to
sir, Akshay sir, I would just like to launch a small poll just to understand our audience right now.
Yes, yes.
So students, you can start voting. We have tried segregating in different domains. What field you wish to pursue in the future? About these courses, obviously we'll discuss when the slides will come, but this would give us a fair idea of what students are expecting right now. Yeah, nice. Good mix, right? So we actually have a very good mix. I mean,
Yeah.
good chunk of you wish to go for the core pharma courses. Uh, just one more poll before you can start, Akshay sir. Just give me a second. I mean, I'm sure many of the students in this webinar would be the ones who wish to go for the fall 20 intake and might have admits in hand as well. But unfortunately, they are unable to go, and they would be going, as we say, next year. Okay. A good chunk of you are planning to go for next year. Good thing to see that, actually speaking. Yes, Akshay sir, you can carry on.
Okay, so when we basically talk about, say, pharmacy in UK or education in UK as general, it is the most sought after education oriented country. Okay, so the universities, when we talk about pharmacy related courses in UK, comes in top 20 in the world. Okay, so that kind of research and an architecture is available with them for you as a pharmacy student. And also, like recently United Kingdom has started giving 2 years of post-study work visa. That is also one of the most important things. You can look at United Kingdom as an option. And yes, the country is known for a pharmaceutical industry. Like a lot of students do go to United Kingdom for a pharmacy or related courses. And when we talk about pharmacy in Ireland, yes, again, Ireland, there are a certain universities in Ireland that comes among the top 5 universities in the world. And if you can see this graph, basically, so the amount of requirement for pharmacist is also increasing day by day, as Sonali ma'am rightly pointed out during the Canada part. that the demand and supply, there is a huge difference between demand and supply. So in the years to come, pharmacy is definitely a very good field. So prospects in UK and Ireland are somewhat similar. And when we talk about basically pharmacy in Europe, again, like same as Canada, the population, when we generally talk about the population in Europe, more than 65% of the population in Europe are aged candidates. Okay, so in this case, they need young employees, they need international students to also help them with this aspect. So definitely any European country, we can definitely look for pharmacy related courses. But one thing which you will basically have to keep in mind when you talk about Europe is basically the language. Now every European country comes with a language, and you are required to know that language, or you should be able to speak it fluently when it comes to the job part. When we basically talk about job, there are plenty of jobs available in Europe. But क्या होता है ना, जैसे language, there are 6 levels of any European language: A1, A2, B1, B2 and C1, C2. So A1 is the least and C2 is the highest. अपने को अगर वहां पे जॉब करना है, पार्ट टाइम, फुल टाइम, एनी जॉब वी आर लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड इन यूरोप, सो हमें बेसिकली एटलीस्ट मतलब B1 लेवल तक का नॉलेज होना अच्छा होगा. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं है कि बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट. बट जैसे अभी यहाँ से ही अगर इफ योर कंट्री इज फिक्स, तो यहाँ से ही 1-2 लेवल करके यू कैन गो एंड देन वहां पे जाके तुम और 1-2 लेवल करके यू कैन बी एडवांस्ड इन दैट language skills. And academic standard wise, Europe ka academics is very good. Just the language part, you'll have to keep that in mind. And yes, so this we discussed about how is the pharmacy scope, and what is basically how the course looks like in different countries. Now let's move on to the very important aspect. जो सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन होता है, सर स्टे बैक कितना मिलेगा या जॉब का क्या है वहां पे, when we talk about this. So this is a very important question. मतलब हम वहां पे जा रहे हैं, इतना इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, तो पहला क्वेश्चन वही है कि सर जॉब और बाकी स्टे बैक का क्या. So yes, Hiren sir, how about United States?
Yes, before that again I would like to launch a small poll.
Sure.
So ये आपने सुन लिया हर कंट्री में क्या है क्या नहीं है, तो थोड़ा हमको भी आइडिया दीजिए कि आप क्या कंट्री टारगेट कर रहे हो या क्या टारगेट कर रहे हो लाइफ में फिलहाल. Yes. Okay. So the Northern American belt के लिए है काफी लोग. Yes, but it's otherwise a mix for the other countries as well. Nice. Okay, अक्षय सर बोलिए, आप क्या पूछ रहे थे मुझे?
Yes, so how about the job opportunities and stay back opportunities for pharmacists in the United States?
So as in the earlier, the first slide that I took, I said that average income after masters in the US is $70,000-80,000 per annum, and average income if you do a PhD is 100, 110, even $120,000 per annum in the field of pharmacy. Again, against misconception, लाइसेंस की जरूरत नहीं है, बिना लाइसेंस के भी आप कर सकते हो. अगेन जो अलग अलग कोर्सेज के बारे में हमने डिस्कस किया, हमने पोल भी लिया था कोर्स को लेके. किसी भी कोर्स के लिए आप जाओगे, आप बायोलॉजिकल कोर्स के लिए भी जाओगे, आप मेडिसिनल केमिस्ट्री के लिए जाओगे, ड्रग डिलीवरी के लिए जाओगे, रेगुलेटरी अफेयर्स के लिए, क्लिनिकल रिसर्च के लिए जाओगे, स्टिल आई मीन the field of pharmacy has ample of scope available in the US. Even the courses when they come to the management part or the admin part, even they are doing very well. The healthcare sector right now is doing extraordinarily well in the US, especially because what we are seeing right now. I mean, रोज हम एक पॉइंट था जब मार्च अप्रैल में कोरोना जस्ट शुरू हुआ था ना, तभी एक पॉइंट था कि हम रेगुलरली ट्रैक करते थे कि आज कितने केस आए, आज कितने केस आए. आज के दिन में हम ऐसे स्टेज पे है कि केस कितने है वो छोड़ो, वैक्सीन कहां तक पहुंचा है. ओके, एंड दैट इज वन ऑफ द थिंग्स व्हिच इज लाइक, ये जो स्टूडेंट्स है जो फार्मा में है, जो फील्ड में है, दे अलोंग विद द अदर हेल्थ केयर मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल्स लाइक डॉक्टर्स एंड ऑल, ये लोग ही मिलके कुछ ना कुछ कर रहे हैं. ओके, Like, for example, we have some student who is working in some lab which is involved in developing the vaccine or the cure. So the students are doing it, right? There are jobs available in this field and people are getting jobs. From what we have seen, at least in the healthcare sector, from what I have known, from what we have spoken to our students, healthcare sector में से किसी का ले ऑफ एज सच कहीं पे हुआ नहीं है. और ये मैं सिर्फ यूएस की नहीं बात कर रहा हूँ, ये मैं हर कंट्री की बात कर रहा हूँ. आई एम श्योर आप लोग जो पैनल पे हो वो भी मेरे से एग्री करोगे टॉपिक पे कि हेल्थ केयर सेक्टर में किसी को भी ले ऑफ नहीं किया गया है. And the point is, salaries are good, and today's day companies are even filing for the work visa for such students. Now यहाँ पे एक चीज है, अगर आप देखोगे तो फार्मेसी का भी जो रेंज है सैलरी का वो काफी अच्छा रेंज है. अगर आप लास्ट का पार्ट पढ़ोगे, स्टेम वर्सेस नॉन स्टेम. नाउ यूएस इज डिवाइडेड इनटू टू कैटेगरीज, वन इज स्टेम एंड वन इज नॉन स्टेम. STEM basically is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Okay, I repeat, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. If you go for a STEM related course, after you're done with your master's or PhD or whatever, you get a 3-year stay back option. If you go for a non-STEM course, you get a 1-year stay back option. Now, the thing here is that general assumption ये होता है कि pharmacy जो है वो STEM में आना चाहिए, क्योंकि science है उसमें. Agreed. बट थोड़े साल पहले तक, मतलब हो गया भाई 7-8 साल हो गए रहेंगे उसको, तब तक फार्मेसी स्टेम में काफी जगहों पे नहीं आता था फॉर सम रीजन. Okay. But what has happened is many universities have actually devised their course in such a manner. Even if you go for a drug regulatory affair course or a clinical research course, any course of that sort, they have developed it in such a manner that this course comes under STEM now. So the students after their masters get a 3-year step back option. Like the difference between STEM and non-STEM is that अगर आप STEM course पे जाते हो तो आपको मास्टर्स के बाद 3 साल का step back option मिलता है यूएस में. अगर आप non-STEM course पे जाते हो तो आपको मास्टर्स के बाद 1 ही साल का step back option मिलता है. So इसमें आपको 3 साल का step back option मिलेगा without any work visa. तो उसमें क्या होगा कि अंडरस्टैंड, हर साल जो यूएस में वर्क वीजा फाइल होता है वो अप्रैल में फाइल होता है, 1 अप्रैल को फाइल होता है. सो अगर आप स्टेम कोर्स पे जाते हो तो आपको 3 साल का स्टे बैक मिलेगा. तो बेसिकली आपको 3 बार का वर्क वीजा का चांस मिलेगा. ओके, अगर ईयर 1 में गॉड फॉरबिड नहीं हुआ तो ईयर 2 है, ईयर 2 में नहीं हुआ तो गॉड फॉरबिड तो फिर ईयर 3 भी है. सो यू गेट 3 इयर्स चांस टू गेट योर थिंग सॉर्टेड. देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम. एंड अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग दिस अगेन, बट लोगों को बहुत मिसकंसेप्शन होते हैं. बट वी हैव हैड स्टूडेंट्स हु हैव गॉन फॉर फार्मेसी रिलेटेड कोर्सेज. फार्माकोलॉजी है, फार्मा एडमिन है, फार्मा मैनेजमेंट है, कॉस्मेटोलॉजी है, टॉक्सिकोलॉजी है, एक्सेट्रा, जिनको अपने मास्टर्स के बाद $70,000-80,000 पर एनम की सैलरी आराम से मिली है. इट्स देयर, इट्स हैपनिंग. ओके, सो दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट स्टूडेंट्स शुड लुक इनटू. रैंडम अप्लाई करने वाली, आइडियली स्पीकिंग, ये स्टेम नॉन स्टेम का फंडा भी देख के अप्लाई करना चाहिए. So if you take care of these things, then getting a job or getting a good salary or getting the stay back option in the US is not difficult at all.
Okay. Yeah. So this was about the United States. Let's move on to Canada. Yes, Sonali ma'am.
Yes. So coming to the stay back option, in Canada, the stay back option is dependent on the duration of the program that you are pursuing. Also, I just wanted to mention certain facts about, what are the salary range that students from the pharmacy background can expect. Of course, it is one of the most, highest paid, you can say one of the highest paid professions in Canada. So we'll just talk about the PGWP, which is also called the postgraduate work permit in Canada, which basically just means stay back option, stay back that you get after you complete your program. So the PGWP basically, as I said, depends on the duration of the program that you pursue. So let's say if a student goes for a 1-year program in Canada, the stay back option or the PGWP is up to 1 year only. If the student is attempting for any program which goes around till 2 years, the PGWP lasts for 3 years, up to 3 years. And but what we've observed over the years, and which is not mentioned on most of the official websites, but if the student takes up any program that is 16 months and above, the PGWP is going to be till 3 years only. The up to 3-year option is available for these kind of students. So many students have misconceptions or questions regarding what if my program is below 2 years. You are still eligible for up to 3 years of PGWP as long as your program is 16 months or higher. Okay, what is the logic of this is basically there are just 2 semesters are counted as 1 year in Canada. So if you complete up to 4 semesters in any duration, if it is 16 months, minimum duration for a 4 semester program is 16. So 16 months, 20 months, 21 months, all have a PGWP up to 3 years. Okay, so now talking about what are the job prospects and the salary range. Basically, I think we have already spoken about job prospects. What is the salary range in Canada? As I said, it is one of the highest paid professions in Canada, as much as any healthcare professional, a physician in Canada. Pharmaceutical science is kind of a very high demanding field, and with the changing trends, there are ample of job opportunities that are available, and there is as in Europe, there is a shortage of people who are there in the field. So to meet that gap, there are more and more professionals required, and given the scenario in Canada about the healthcare system and how well they have managed it, given that scenario, how well developed is their healthcare system, there are more professionals required every day. Of course, pharmacy is fifth most popular profession in the country, and that shows how well it has been developed. The average pharmacist salary can range anywhere between $90,000 and can go up to $117,000 as well. There are professionals which draw up to $125,000 as well. So that goes up to the kind of experience that you have in the field. The more number of experience that you gain in Canada, the higher the salary range, of course. As you can see below, I have just attached a small graph. Akshay sir, if you are able to click on it, is it possible?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a basic range of how many years, like you will eventually start with an 80 to 90,000 salary range, and then go up to can go up to 200,000 as well, depending on the kind of experience that you have. Of course, that will take around 10 to 15 years, but this is a clear range of salaries that you can expect depending on the number of years of experience that you are ready to gain. Yeah, going back to the slide. Thank you, Akshay sir. There's just one last point, one stats that I wanted to discuss.
Yeah.
Yes. Recently, this is very latest statistics. The e-pharmacy market that is there in Canada it has projected a huge growth. By the CAGR. The growth expected as compared to that in 2019 as compared to that, comparing 2019 and the growth expected in 2025, as you can see the figures, that is a huge amount of money. That is we are predicting a growth from 29 million, almost 30 million US dollars to 117 million US dollars. So that is a huge growth that we are expecting in less than, like, I think 5 or 6 years. So you can imagine the kind of demand that pharmacists will have in the near future, given the entire scenario now as well. And there are different sectors that students can work in, which we will discuss shortly. I think the programs, the kind of programs and everything are similar to those of other countries. Same kind of programs are available in the US. In Canada, the similar programs are available all over the country. So yeah, that's about it from my side.
Okay, thank you, Sonali ma'am. So yes, Kiran ma'am, how about the job opportunities and stay back option in Australia and New Zealand?
Yes, thank you, Akshay. So as mentioned previously, pharmacists are highly in demand in both Australia and New Zealand, as most of the healthcare professionals across the world. So healthcare industry is in huge demand in both these countries, and as mentioned previously by a lot of by Akshay sir and Sonali ma'am, that because these countries have more of an aging population and declining population, they do have a requirement of skilled professionals coming from outside and studying there and settling there and working there. So same way in Australia, there is a concept in Australia and New Zealand both. There is a concept of skilled occupation list. So skilled occupation list is basically lists the occupations and professions that are in shortage in that country. And this is a government produced website. On the government produced website, they list out the professions that the country is short of, and that the country is not able to locally fulfill the needs of. So pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences, pharmacists, people in biotechnology, in regulatory affairs, drug development, these professions are listed in the skilled occupation list, which means that Australia and New Zealand both are unable to fulfill these demands locally. And hence, any students who are going to these countries to study these professions, be it Master of Pharmacy, Clinical Pharmacy, Pharmaceutical Industry Practice, pharmacology or pharmacotherapy, medicinal chemistry, anything related to pharmacy is highly in demand in these countries. And anybody who studies this fulfills the needs of the licensing and fulfills the internship and the requirements of the licensing, which we'll come to later, are easily able to stay back in the country and work long term, and maybe also get a PR and settle in the country. So as mentioned previously, out of every 3 jobs, 1 job in Australia belongs to a healthcare professional, and pharmacy comes at number 3 after doctors and nurses in Australia in these job prospects. So, and it is also one of the highest paid sector with a minimum wage of about $45 per hour. And if you also see the statistics, which is given for both Australia and New Zealand, depending on the work experience, generally, the salary keeps increasing, and it is one of the highest paid sector for both Australia and New Zealand. Can you go to the next slide, Akshay? So
Yeah.
I'll just come to the pattern of education in both Australia and New Zealand. So in Australia, your master's degree has to be of a minimum 2-year duration. So if you study for a 2-year duration, you get the stay back option depending on the location of your study. So when you think of Australia, of course, the first 3 cities that come to mind are Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, because these are the 3 most popular cities. So if you study in these three cities, say you study in University of Melbourne or University of Sydney or University of Queensland, and all of these universities are pretty popular for pharmacy. But if you study in these 3 cities, you get a stay back of 2 years. And if you study in any university outside of these 3 cities, you get a longer stay back duration. By stay back, I mean the job search visa. So if you're looking for a PR, if there are students who are looking for PR, then we highly recommend them to study in cities which are outside of Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. Of course, we will be able to suggest you universities accordingly. And the same is in New Zealand. In New Zealand, if you study in Auckland versus if you study outside of Auckland, your stay back option, which is your post-study work visa, duration changes. So basically, this is done because the country wants good students and skilled students to come and study in the whole of the country and not just concentrate in 1 or 2 regions. They want a uniform development of the country, and hence they invite students and they incentivize students if they are going to other parts of the country. In New Zealand, there are also options for students to do postgraduate diploma and graduate diploma. Now, if you are unable to get into a master's degree directly because you're not fulfilling the requirement of percentage or CGPA, then you can look at the diploma options. Or if you are not in, you're not looking at getting a license, you're not looking at spending too much of money, and you are short on budget, then you can definitely look at graduate diplomas or postgraduate diplomas. They are only of a 1-year duration and cost much less. So these are some of the options. In Australia, you have masters. In New Zealand, you have masters as well as diploma courses. So depending on your requirements, we can suggest to you what would ideally fit you. Over to you, Akshay.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, ma'am. So Now, talking about the job prospects and stay back when it comes to UK, so ये जो पहला line है, employment of pharmacists is expected to increase by 25%, मतलब अगले साल तक 25% से increase होने वाला था. And अगर हम देखें कि like in this situation of corona and in general, there is a lot of scope for pharmacists, in UK. And अगर हम ये ग्राफ देखें जहाँ पे प्रोजेक्टेड ग्रोथ के बारे में था, ठीक है, सो जो ब्लू लाइन है दैट इज बेसिकली द ग्रोथ अवेलेबल फॉर यू गाइज व्हेन इट कम्स टू यूके. एंड स्टे बैक की अगर बात करें तो यूके एज अ कंट्री recently they have started offering 2 years of post study work visa. So तुम्हारा 1 या 2 साल का कोर्स रहेगा and then you will have basically 2 years of stay back in UK. And when it comes to basically the statistics in Ireland, जैसे हम यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं कि अगेन आयरलैंड में भी फार्मेसी इज अ वेरी सॉट आफ्टर फील्ड, ठीक है, यहाँ पे भी कोर्सेस वगैरह एवरीथिंग इज फाइन. ओके, सो जनरली एक फार्मासिस्ट की जो सैलरी रेंज होगी दैट विल बी समवेयर अराउंड, एक एवरेज अगर पकड़े तो समवेयर अराउंड 50,000 euros a year as an average. Lowest, as mentioned here, lowest it could be somewhere around 28 and highest of around 76,000 euros. So again, this is a very good thing, ठीक है, मतलब job wise, job prospects wise. So there are a lot of pharmaceutical industries also based in UK and Ireland. So अगर आयरलैंड, हमारे पास भी कोई स्टूडेंट आता है फार्मेसी के लिए, we definitely refer them UK and Ireland because they have a lot of pharmacy related things. Now talking about the prospects in Europe, तो सबसे पहले सबसे important thing is कि हमें लैंग्वेज सीखनी है. जॉब के लिए सबसे पहली चीज हमें लैंग्वेज सीखनी है. ओके, लैंग्वेज के बाद जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज आती है, जैसे हम सबने पहले भी कहा था, डिमांड एंड सप्लाई. अभी क्या है कि जो पॉपुलेशन है यूरोप का ओवरऑल, ठीक है, जैसे यहाँ पे लिखा है कि ग्रेटर देन 65 ईयर्स, मतलब बहुत ज्यादा एज लोग हैं. तो सबसे पहला प्रोस्पेक्ट की बहुत ज्यादा एज लोग है तो उनके पास यंग पॉपुलेशन की उनको जरूरत है. फर्स्ट थिंग की जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज अच्छी होंगी. सेकेंड थिंग व्हेन इट कम्स टू दिस स्टैटिस्टिक्स बेसिकली, तो अगर वो एज्ड पीपल बहुत ज्यादा है तो उनका ख्याल रखने के लिए या उन्हें भी वैसे बहुत हेल्थ केयर प्रोफेशनल्स की जरूरत पड़ेगी. एंड यू एज अ फार्मासिस्ट विल डेफिनेटली प्ले अ वेरी वाइटल रोल हियर. ओके, एंड स्टे बैक की अगर बात करें तो कंट्री टू कंट्री स्टे बैक वैरी करता है. जैसे अगर हम जर्मनी की बात करें तो 1.5 years ऑफ स्टे बैक, नेदरलैंड्स में 1 year का स्टे बैक, फ्रांस में 2 years का स्टे बैक. So country to country stay back will differ when it comes to Europe. And this is basically the statistics जो मतलब हर country wise कि pharmaceutical industry में employment कैसे हो रही है. Okay, so this is that statistics. अगर हम देखें तो Germany, France, Italy, UK, Switzerland, so ये जो number है that is basically the employment, मतलब इतने लोग pharmacy related fields में employed है इन countries में. So you can see there is a lot of scope when it comes to the field of pharmacy in Europe and UK, Ireland. Now moving ahead, ये एक बहुत ही important aspect था, मतलब हम overseas education के लिए जब देखते हैं तो ये पहली चीज होती है as a student. And now let us talk about the different types of courses available. So what kind of courses you as a B.Pharm student can take? Yes, Hiren sir, how about the United States or all countries in general, because courses more or less same ही होंगे.
Yeah, so this slide is basically for all countries combined. I mean, whatever courses are listed over here are more or less offered by every country possible. Okay, like for example, if you look at the top few courses like pharmaceutical sciences, under that different domains come in, under that different specializations come in. Like you have molecular pharmacology, you have pharmacology, you have toxicology. There's a different section completely for drug regulatory affairs, clinical trial, clinical research. There's something as medicinal chemistry, which has a good influence of microbiology also in that. I mean, we have a microbiologist here in Sonali ma'am. I mean, she'll be able to tell better about this. But yeah, anyway, then you go for some management related courses like pharma admin, pharma management, are different management related courses. Actually, for the main biology related courses, I would like the expert in house, Ms. Sonali Palkar, take care of this. I would like to specifically talk about the bottom three that are there. Public health, healthcare administration, and hospital management. See, like they say MPH, MHA. Now what happens is many people assume कि अगर तुमने इंडिया में मेडिसिन किया है, मतलब MBBS, BDS वगैरह किया है, तो ही तुमको ये courses होंगे. No, we have sent pharmacy graduate students also for these domains, because you have to understand one thing, that pharmacy, medical field, I mean the hospitals and all, they go hand in hand. They have to go. I mean, I'm stating the most obvious thing possible, but they all go hand in hand. So such students who have a background of pharmacy do have a background in medicine as well. They know what happens in hospitals. I mean, when you are working in India also as a pharmacist or something, or in the R&D wing, you know what is going on in the hospitals. You know what is going on in the research labs. You know what is going on in the pharmaceutical companies. Like today's day, whatever we are hearing from WHO, I mean, you credit it, discredit, disrespect, respect WHO, what it's an individual's call. But at the end of the day, WHO also has people from the domain of, like, who are in the medical field, as well as people who are from the pharmaceutical field, etc. They have people to help them out. So I mean, even the management part, how to go about public policies for health sector or public health sector, or even the overall fund of epidemiology or toxicology, is something which I mean, which this is something which is very, very, very how do I say, important and critical for the world right now. And people who go for, who are pharmacy graduates, can actually do MPH, MHA as well. And for the remaining bio related or pharma related fields, Sonali ma'am, would you like to share something? And this is your home ground.
Yeah, sure. So, people always think like, especially talking about the pharmacy profession, students think that they have limited options when it comes to pharmacy, courses. I think pharmaceutical sciences, drug delivery, and regulatory affairs is one of the top opted courses. But apart from that, students don't realize that they have options when it comes to microbiology, biotechnology as well, biological sciences as well, which is kind of like the basic of drug discovery and bringing in new drugs into the market. That's where it starts. So if you are really interested in the research related fields of discovering new drugs, discovering the end products of microorganisms, and using that for probably producing new drugs and introducing new drugs into the market, that's where it starts. So if you are not just maybe not oriented towards the end product, the finished product, but if you want to research and contribute to the field of like bringing in or introducing new drugs, I think that's where it starts. That's all biotechnology in pharmacy is about. The bioformulations that come out after a range of clinical trials that we do, that's nothing but biotechnology, use of biotechnology in pharmacy. So I think these are great courses to look at. Even genetics and molecular sciences, the use of these fields in the field of pharmacy is huge. The drugs that we are using now, the drugs that which are selling in the market right now, before they were sold in the market, they were discovered at a particular time, and this discovery in all is microbiology, biotechnology, and the study of all this is related to this. So if you're just not interested in the industry or industry jobs, if you're interested in research oriented jobs at the very basic level, I think this is what you can look at as well.
Okay, yeah, that was
HK ma'am, you would like to
nice.
share something? Yeah, HK ma'am, would you like to share something, especially with regards to
No,
Australian New Zealand?
the no courses that you've mentioned here are pretty comprehensive. So I wouldn't like to say that, but I'm just noticing that there are not like really any questions that are coming in from the audience. So I would just like to tell the students that there is a chat box feature here. And if you have any questions while we are speaking, because right now it is kind of a one-sided conversation. So if you have any questions, please do post your questions. We will be taking them post the session. So as in when you
Yeah,
do feel like asking a question, please post them here.
yeah. Please post your questions, and we have our senior counselors available in this panel. Apart from the ones who are talking right now, we have senior counselors available who are answering your questions in the question box as well. So yeah, as ma'am said, as ma'am rightly said, please post in your questions.
Yeah, so similar structure available in UK, Ireland, and other parts of Europe as well. Moving ahead with the next part, with regards to eligibility criteria, like am I eligible getting in?
Yeah.
Yes, Hiren
Before that,
sir, how
Akshay sir, I
about
would
the
like to
eligibility?
just, yeah, I would just like to launch a small poll.
Sure.
Yeah, this is very critical in today's day, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
I mean, honestly speaking, as I said the other day, whenever we do any of such webinars for the medicinal field or related field, the answers are a bit, I mean, the results are a bit skewed, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Anytime, because they are
Yes.
aware of what's going on.
That's what. So if you look at it, most of the majority of them are quite highly concerned, moderate to highly
So 3,
concerned.
4, 5, yeah, 3, 4, 5 is
Yeah,
pretty skewed.
या एक्चुअली वही है ना, एचके हम ये देख के ना हमको डर लगता है कि जब मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल्स ऐसे बात करेंगे तो हम क्या सोचेंगे.
True that. This is
हाँ
probably
हमारे
one field that shouldn't be worried because they are extremely in demand, especially in this situation.
absolutely, absolutely, and you guys know the ground reality, right? Yeah, so continuing with the eligibility part, so okay, whenever you're going to the US, again, so our idea of doing these sort of webinars, or maybe even we often even do Instagram live sessions or Facebook live sessions. Our idea is, and trust me, since March, the lockdown and everything started, more than half our time has been going in removing the misconceptions from people's minds. I mean, the misconstrued notions in people's mind. We half of our energy is spent in that. Rumors आते हैं, misconceptions आते हैं, उसी को हम गायब करने बैठते हैं, बराबर ना, sir and madam?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So the point is, yeah, why I'm saying this again, because many people assume that if you want to go to the US, especially if you're a pharmacy graduate and you want to go to the US, you won't need a GRE score. It's highly mistaken. The point is, many of the universities for your course, whatever course you're going for, they ask for a GRE score. It's not like वो लोग ऐसे बोलते नहीं है कि GRE नहीं चाहिए हमको या तुम ऐसे ही आ जाओ. No, many of them need a GRE score even as an entry criteria, or even as a this thing. What do we say? Even as for scholarships, they ask for a GRE score. Apart from that, I agree. You guys are pharmacy graduates. For you, the mathematical part of GRE is a bit difficult, which Ankur sir, Akshay sir later will take care of. But the point is, you need to give your GRE in most of the cases. Even for visa, it is needed. Even for admissions, it is needed. For scholarships, it is needed. Apart from GRE, you need a good TOEFL score. Ideally, 100 plus is a good score. Anything less than that, we'll see. We can figure out later. Your bachelor's GPA, your percentage is counted a lot. Like if you have a 60 or 65 percentage or plus, or if you have a GPA of 7 plus, that helps a lot. And what happens is the courses that you're going for, they are in the medical profession. So many of the schools that you would be applying for would need something known as WS evaluation. Now, what happens in WS evaluation? आपका GPA यहाँ पे 10 के स्केल पे है या 100 के स्केल पे है, उसको कन्वर्ट करना होता है 4 के स्केल पे, ओके, जो यूनिवर्सिटी वहां पे मांगते हैं. सो काफी जगह पे ऐसा है कि यूनिवर्सिटी खुद से कर देते हैं, बट स्पेशली जो भी मेडिकल फील्ड या मेडिकल प्रोफेशन या मे बी फार्मेसी, मतलब आई मीन आपकी फील्ड से आते हैं, उनके लिए वो लोग क्या बोलते हैं कि हम नहीं करेंगे, आप WS को दो, वर्ल्ड एजुकेशन सर्विस करके एक बॉडी है यूएस में, आप उनको दो, वो आपका जीपीए जो है वो 10 या 100 में से 4 पे इवेलुएट करके दे देंगे और फिर हमको भेज देंगे, हम उसको फिर उसके बेस पे हम आगे का काम करेंगे. So you would need that as well. So that is where your GPA becomes very, very, very critical in your life. Okay. Other documents, obviously your statement of purpose, your resume, your letter of recommendations are critical any given day. I mean, you have to make a nice, a good, detailed but not so big resume. You have to make a nice, decent resume. SOP, basically statement of purpose. It is what you have done in the past, what you wish to do in the future, and how the university can help you bridge the gap. This is what SOP is all about. This is what you need to write. आपके goals life में आप let's say आपने pharmacy किया और आपका MPH या MHA करना है, तो आपको क्यों करना है वो आप ठीक से डिफाइन करोगे तो आपका SOP सही जाएगा and आपको एडमिशन भी सही से मिलेगा. So these are the things. Letter of recommendations are written by your professor. Again, there is a misconception here कि सर PhD holder या principal या head of the department से लेंगे, ऐसे mandatory है क्या? No. the professor should be one who is ready to write something good for you or ready to write some good stuff about you and has taught you some relevant subjects for, I mean, आप मास्टर्स को जिस फील्ड पे जा रहे हो, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल टॉक्सिकोलॉजी या कॉस्मेटोलॉजी का मास्टर्स आपने सोचा है, तो उस रिलेटेड आपको अगर किसी ने कुछ पढ़ाया है, अगर आप वो उनसे लोगे तो आपके लिए बहुत फायदेमंद रहेगा. So these are some things that you need to take care of when you are applying. Okay, Akshay sir, you can carry on.
Yeah, so this was a nice insight. Now let's discuss about the requirements in, other part of the world. So yes, Sonali ma'am, how about the requirements in Canada?
Yeah, so the requirements in Canada are very similar to that in the US, except for the GPA that is there, the minimum GPA that is there. Many schools in Canada for pharmacy surprisingly also ask for GRE. So students who are trying to escape GRE and not applying to the US because Canada जा रहे हैं क्योंकि उनको GRE नहीं देना है. Unfortunately, Canadian universities also ask for GRE. So you might as well try for both countries. One point that I would specifically like to mention over here is Canada is a very academic centric university, similar to, I think Akshay sir would agree, similar to Germany. So
Yeah.
academics hold a very importance in your entire profile, that is given more weightage, you can say. So the academic requirement for a degree in pharmacy related courses in Canada can anywhere be, of course, we will be coming to the licensing part where if you're looking for specific degrees that will grant you a license, there are only 10 such universities in Canada that do that. So if you're looking to get getting admitted into these 10 universities, the requirement will be anywhere between 80 to 85%. It is quite high because the number of universities available are quite less, the seats available are less in comparison to the applications that they receive every year. So as I said, there are certain universities which ask for GRE scores for pharmacy students, pharmacy related courses, specifically the 10 universities that I'm talking about. To mention one or two, I think Toronto and UBC are one of them, University of British Columbia are one of them, who require GRE scores. Other than that, IELTS or TOEFL, both are accepted. Ideally an IELTS of 7.5 and above. The minimum requirement for any other masters is 6.5, but usually for courses that are high in demand, the requirement goes up. So 7.5, ideally on an IELTS for IELTS, and a TOEFL range of 100 plus is required, with 22 plus in each of the sections. IELTS nothing less than 6.5 in each of the sections. So those are the requirements. Other requirements like SOPs, LORs, resume that we spoke about, that Hiren sir explained what exactly are those, remain same in Canada.
Okay, Kiran ma'am, how about the requirements for Australia and New Zealand?
Yes, so this slide is actually quite accurate when it comes to even Australia. Australia and New Zealand both are generally very lenient when it comes to requirement of the average aggregate CGPA. But because this is a regulated profession and it is much more difficult to get into any pharmacy related courses, the minimum requirement at most universities, even in Australia, is a 65%. Generally the requirement is not so high, but for pharmacy related courses in Australia and New Zealand, both for a master's level is 65%, and an overall IELTS score of a minimum 7 is required. Australia doesn't have a requirement of GRE at all. So they completely focus on the past academics and the past CGPA of the student. Of course, they look at the overall profile. So agar aapke profile mein you have some good achievements, extracurricular, co-curricular activities, and any publications or any kind of other achievements related to your field, then that would definitely hold a lot of value. But सबसे पहले जो consider करते हैं Australian and New Zealand universities is the CGPA. So that is for any pharmacy related courses. it is a 65% that is required. If you're looking at any other types of courses like healthcare administration or healthcare service management or public health, health sciences, the CGPA is the required CGPA would be much lower. So it could be anywhere above a 50-55%, and you can get into those courses. But as I said, for any pharmacy related course, it is 65%. And other documents almost remain the same, although Australia is not very focused on the letters of recommendations. So we don't advise you to have it unless it is specifically required by a university. So we just need your basic academic documents and your resume and your IELTS score. So that's all that is required to start the process in Australia and New Zealand.
Okay.
Sorry, Akshay
Yeah.
sir, I just forgot to add one thing. I realized when
Yes.
Kiran ma'am was talking. I just spoke about the requirements of the 10 universities which have the accredited program. But other universities, we are going to explore the license, part in every country, wherein license is not really mandatory if you want to work in any country. It only is specific to a particular profession. We are going to talk about it. So I just wanted to add one thing. So 80 to 85% is the requirement for if you want to get into those 10 universities that I'm talking about. But if you want to apply for any programs apart from that, like regulatory affairs or maybe biotechnology, molecular biology, genetics, these courses have a slightly lower GPA requirement and can admit students depending on the level of university. Generally, if I can give you an idea, somewhere around 70 plus is the GPA requirement. So any student with 70% plus can try for these courses as well in Canada.
Okay. Yeah, fine. And when we basically talk about the requirements in UK and Ireland, yes, again, GRE is not required. 60-65%, like even if you have a lower GPA, it is still possible getting into UK and Ireland. When it comes to, IELTS or TOEFL, 100 plus or an overall of 7 bands is a very good score. You can aim for that score basically, and the documents which are mentioned here are common for all the countries. And when it comes to Europe, when it comes to basically pharmacy in Europe, language is not required at the time of application or not for your studies. Your studies will be entirely taught in English language. You will require the language for job. And yes, English proficiency is required. And see, when it comes to Germany, Germany has two types of universities, public and private. Now, getting into a public university where there is a free education, at least 80 to 85% of bachelor's aggregate is required. Apart from that, all other universities across Europe and all other courses, it is easier getting into with lower GPA as well. Moving ahead with the next part, I would like Ankur sir to just take us through
Yeah.
what GRE is and how
Akshay,
important is this
Akshay sir,
examination.
yeah. Before that, I would like to launch a couple of polls here.
Sure.
Yeah. एंट्री रिक्वायरमेंट के बारे में इतना तो बोल दिया, अभी थोड़ा बच्चों से भी ले हम कि उनको किधर डर लग रहा है, किधर डर नहीं लग रहा है.
Such a low percentage of students have, worried about their documentation process.
I know, I can see that. Surprising.
Yeah, country
Actually, क्या हो गया
selection
ना,
here
Akshay
has
sir?
got major vote.
हाँ, so actually, Akshay sir, what is happening now in these days, especially since the COVID-19 has come in, the first worry for many people is कि जाए तो कौन से देश जाए, मतलब हम कहाँ safe रहेंगे या हम मतलब हमारा कहाँ पे पंगा नहीं
Yeah,
होगा. I mean, that is what people
Yes.
are worried about as of now. Okay, and before Ankur sir can talk, I would like to, yeah. So actually, someone in the question section asked, is a low score like 305 also fine for pharmacy? Because people with a low score of 305 have also gone. Let me tell you one thing,
Yes.
305 is not a low score if you are a pharmacy graduate, honestly speaking.
Right.
Yeah. So yes, Yeah, a good number of you have appeared for your GRE. Sorry, wish to appear for. And one last poll I launched before Ankur sir can take it over from me. अंकुर सर क्या लगता है आपको क्या रिजल्ट आएगा इसमें?
This is going to be
यहाँ पे
interesting.
कौन ज्यादा आएगा?
Yes.
चलो देखते हैं, we shall see.
या फिर इक्वल आएगा दोनों?
क्या बात
Almost.
करो, we shall see. चलो अच्छा ऐसा आप बोल रहे हो, ठीक है चलो देखते हैं.
Oh my God.
अरे अरे
Guys, we have no hand in this polling. It is completely done by you. Okay? Of all the attendees, almost 80% of you voted, and this is the result that we have in hand. Okay? हमने कुछ नहीं किया इसमें.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
over to you, Ankur sir.
yeah
I think this is the first time. मतलब
एकदम
इतना
yeah
bag on. Okay, guys. So yeah, let's go to the slide. Yeah. So like yeah, as Hiren sir said कि पहले तो GRE चाहिए for US, other countries में नहीं चाहिए, and so if you're targeting US, definitely GRE आप prepare करके you can write it. It's and also yeah, as you said कि 305 is a very good score. It's pretty good score for pharmacy. We do not 330 plus की जरूरत नहीं है. So we can obviously, but higher the score, better is your stronger is your profile, and therefore अगर 330 plus आ गया या जो भी आ गया, it will definitely add to your application. Okay, so give it your best shot. Don't take it lightly. I would still suggest that give your best shot to it. So पहले तो there is a requirement in GRE, दो essays you have to write. These are analytical writing assessment. They do not test your English skills, unlike TOEFL or IELTS. यहाँ पे they test your analytical writing skills. That's why it's called analytical writing assessment. ये 30 minutes each है. फिर आपका वर्बल और क्वांट सेक्शन आता है. उसमें वर्बल में 2 सेक्शन आएंगे, क्वांट में 2 सेक्शन आएंगे. जनरली दे ऑल्टरनेट. Each section you have 20 questions, and you have in quant 35 minutes and in verbal 30 minutes per section. Okay? So the challenge of this test is speed and accuracy, and we at Imperial coach you very conceptually. We don't make any assumptions कि कौन कहाँ से. Basic से शुरू करते हैं, especially maths में. Concepts are taken right from the basic and build it to the GRE level. Okay, and verbal may again it is all about logical thinking. You definitely need a lot of vocabulary for the verbal section. So what we do is we build vocabulary every class. It is not कि एक दिन बैठ के 500 वर्ड कर लिया, नहीं. Every class we build, and every class में we tell you कि repeat करो. So धीरे धीरे ये हो जाता है, and within 2 months, 2.5 months, our program is there. You can easily prepare and crack the GRE. You don't have to worry at all.
okay. And Ankur sir, like when we talk about GRE training at Imperial, how is it structured, and what are services the student will get when he enrolls for GRE training with us?
Yes. So see, there is live lectures which are going on. You will get. We have divided into 24 modules, 12 quant and 12 verbal. So all those modules you will get the live lectures if you choose the live lecture series. Okay. In each lecture we discuss approximately 20 questions. So if you look at quant, we first do concepts and warm-ups, and then we discuss 20 questions in class. And then we give you homework, which is another 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 sets of 20 questions each, depending on the module. Okay, so that is our structure, and after every 2 lectures we have a doubt solving. Okay, so you get a doubt solving lecture after, especially in quant we need that doubt solving because every student is unique and different. So किसी को ज्यादा doubts होंगे, किसी को कम होंगे, तो इसलिए हम every 2 classes के बाद doubt solving करते हैं. So all of this is available. All the material is available. Or we have collected all the GRE questions and put it on our system. So all of that is available. And reference books are also available. Like there are a few guides like Manhattan, etc. You don't need to purchase any book. Everything is on our portal. And if you can't attend live lectures, all of this you can just take it as a video series, because each and every lecture is recorded, and then you can prepare on your own with the help of the video series.
Okay, so that was a beautiful insight about GRE. Ankur sir, how about TOEFL and why is it required?
Yes. So, as everyone has said, TOEFL or IELTS is a definite requirement. For other countries, it will be IELTS. For US, it will be TOEFL. These tests are both these tests are English tests. They are not. They have nothing. No questions like GRE. GRE is more of logic. Here, they are gonna test your English speaking skill, writing skill, listening skills, and reading skills. Okay, and they are straightforward questions. They are not complex. But what happens is there is time restriction. So as you can see, reading may you'll have 3-4 passages, 10 questions each, 54-72 minutes. Then listening, maybe you can see those time restrictions. So what happens is you have to have the habit of it. You have to have the develop the skill of solving it fast. And speaking, for example, एक ही मिनट में अगर आपको बोलना है, तो you need to practice it so that you speak and then you finish. It's very important to conclude before time runs out. So all these tasks are there, and what happens is we again train you for TOEFL. Very comfortably you can prepare our online lectures which are going on.
Okay, how about IELTS?
So IELTS very similar, same 4 skills: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Difference between TOEFL and IELTS, one big difference is TOEFL is completely computerized. In IELTS, there will be someone who will take, the speaking with you. So there is a person involved. Okay. So listening, again, time wise, 40 minutes, reading 1 hour, writing 1 hour, and speaking 11 to 14 minutes. So time wise both tests are comparable. Now often students say कि IELTS उनको थोड़ा easier लगता है कभी-कभी, but it also depends on your practice. So IELTS also very doable. We need the proper practice, and इसमें बहुत सारे tests है, and we keep practicing them in the class. And if you want to attend a demo, you can attend, so you'll see how we do it. Is very interactive. So मजा भी बहुत आता है IELTS and TOEFL के lecture में.
Yeah, thank you, Ankur sir. And just to add to what Ankur sir said, we have both weekday and weekend batches. You can attend demo and you can see how we teach, and you can decide later. So moving on to the important part, license process. Yes, Hiren sir, how about the license process for pharmacists in USA?
Yeah, thank you, Akshay sir. Yeah, so when we continue further, Akshay sir, if you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So, okay, guys, if you understand one thing, there's a body. The exams are known as NAPLEX examination. It's written 185 questions, but very recently they changed it to 250 questions. And of them, 200 questions are accounted for, 200 questions are counted. And from, I mean, they give you basically marks out of 200 questions. See, again, as we said at the start, license आपको तभी चाहिए अगर आपको खुद का practice शुरू करना है, या as a pharmacist आपको practice करना है तो. Okay, now the point here is that most of you might be going for a M.Pharm or a Master of Pharmacy or maybe a PhD degree. If you look at this, ideally आपके पास एक Pharm D degree होना चाहिए वहां पे to practice or to get the license over there. Otherwise, you will not get the license. I mean, with a master's or a PhD or degree, you will not get a license. But the point is, even without the license in your hand, you can work in any pharmacy company, in any lab or R&D wing of any company under pharmacist. That is all allowed. There is no problem. So you need a license. Basically, ideally, you need the license if you want to practice on your own. Okay, generally when we go as students over there, especially in the US, in the future we need a work visa. We can get a work visa only when we are employed by someone, because the employer is going to file for your work visa. You are not going to file it by yourself. And when the employer is asking you, like when you are looking for a job with the employer, or when they are interviewing you, they don't look at your license, because they know your, I mean, they know what work you can do, they know what research you can do, they know your technical insights, technical skill sets in and out. They would want you to work under a pharmacist out there who already has a license. So you need not bother about this, because this is a tedious process. And even if you need a license, I mean, okay, overall up to 5 failed attempts are allowed. I don't want you to, if you are going for your license, I don't want you to fail first of all, but up to 5 failed attempts are allowed. And the license exam happens like very regularly out there. And once, if God forbid you fail a license exam, one of the attempt, you can appear for the next one after 45 days. So these are the things that you need to understand. And yeah, even if you have your PharmD degree from outside of the US, you can still appear for the license by taking some credential evaluation from the US, as mentioned in the last point, and you can give your license. But again, you are students wherein license ideally would not be needed for you because of the degrees that you're going for. Again, I repeat, if you go for a master's degree in any of the fields that we mentioned earlier, or even a PhD in any of the fields we mentioned earlier, in the US at least, you won't need a license to stay and to work out there. Okay, Akshay sir, if you can continue.
Yeah, so let's move on to Canada. Yes, Sonali ma'am, how about the process for Canada?
Yes. So as Hiren sir rightly mentioned, getting a license is not absolutely important unless you want to practice as a pharmacist over there. In that case, if you wish to practice as a pharmacist in the US, sorry, in Canada, then you will have to graduate from those 10 universities that I was talking about. Currently, there are, the 10 universities which are there, those are only accredited. The courses provided by these universities are only accredited, and only if you graduate from these universities are you going to be eligible for a license. So that limits kind of your opportunities. So apart from applying at these schools, you may also look at putting in applications and in other programs wherein you should be able to get around the idea that you may not eventually land up with a license, which is completely fine. I mean, licenses, as I said, not absolutely required if you are practicing under a registered licensing company and all those. And if eventually if you want to move towards research oriented jobs, or maybe jobs related to teaching or academics, I think license is absolutely not required. So out of these 10 schools, let me just point out there are no M.Pharm programs or masters in pharmacy programs. They are all bachelor level, either bachelor level or pharmacy, doctorate in pharmacy programs. So PharmD programs to be precise. So options for a master's level program become very limited. If you want to land up with a license, it gets tougher and tougher. So I think it would be always better to apply for any other, for all other programs, in fact, that you're interested in. Now, the board that takes care of, since this is a regulated profession, the board that takes care of it, as similar to US, in Canada, it is called as PEBC, as mentioned on the slide. They are responsible for conducting, evaluating these universities that we're talking about, and also conducting the exams. So in the last point, I have mentioned the points that the stepwise process of getting a license, if in case anybody is interested. So getting a bachelor's or a doctor of pharmacy, as I said, master's level program are not accredited or not available at under these 10 schools. They do not have the accreditation required. So you have to complete either a doctorate level. I'm assuming most of the students attending this webinar have already completed or are going to complete their bachelor's. So you will have to go for a doctorate degree, and from any of these 10 universities. Post that, you will have to attempt a national board examination, and that is province wise. You cannot after going through this exam. It depends on which province you want to practice in. Post that, a practical experience on an internship is required, and then after testing your IELTS and your after testing your basically your English proficiency, you will be selected if you are able to clear these exams and pass the internship program that is required. Post that, you can just test your proficiency as well, and that's how you are going to be eligible for a license. So instead of going through all this hassle, it would be better if we apply for programs or get into programs other than these 10 universities, and you can usually start working in Canada, as there are ample of opportunities.
Okay, yeah. So thank you, Sonali ma'am. Kiran ma'am, how about the license process in Australia and New Zealand? How easy or how difficult it is?
Yes. Yeah. So in Australia, I'm, right now focusing on, the students who are looking at particularly Master of Pharmacy program. So Master of Pharmacy program basically is accredited by the Australian, it's called APC, which is Australian Pharmacy Council. Only programs that are accredited by the APC, if your program is accredited by APC, you can move on to the licensing part. Of course, the other programs like biotechnology, bioinformatics, or public health sciences, they are not accredited by this body. So if your program, which is Master of Clinical Pharmacy or Master of Pharmacy, is accredited by APC, you can move on to the licensing part immediately after your master's. Of course, there are certain steps and certain requirements to get a license in Australia. In Australia, what happens is that after you're done with your Master of Pharmacy, you get a provisional registration, which helps you attain a 1-year internship as a under the guidance of a registered pharmacist. So in order to get the license in Australia, you need a 1-year internship under a registered license holder, a registered pharmacist. And of course, during the internship, you get a lot of experience and knowledge, and a lot of universities also have this internship integrated within their master's. So it becomes like a 3-year master's with 2 years of academic learning and the 3rd year as internship, which makes it very easy for students. Now, after you complete the 1-year internship, the 2-year master's and 1-year internship, you can sit for the Australian Pharmacy Board's examination. It's an exam which has 2 components, a written and an oral component. You have to clear this, and once you clear this, and of course there are some vaccinations, some police verifications and stuff like that, because it's a regulated profession. Once you cross these steps, you are able to get the license in Australia in a matter of a few months. So once, of course, you have the license, you can seek employment in hospitals, in pharmacies, in pharmaceutical companies as a pharmacist. As everyone else mentioned earlier, this is only and only required, this whole process is only required if you want to work as a pharmacist. And if you don't, then you can work as in any other professions which don't need licensing. In New Zealand, again, the process is very similar. In fact, Australia and New Zealand work in tandem. And if you are a master's degree holder in Australia, you can work in Australia, and vice versa. I mean, New Zealand, Australia. So if you are doing your master's in New Zealand, which is also accredited by the Pharmacy Council of New Zealand, you have to have a 1 year of internship post your master's. After you complete your 1-year internship and your master's, you have to again sit for an exam, which is called CAPS, which is the Knowledge Assessment of Pharmaceutical Science. Once you do that, you clear your examinations, you clear your internship. You have to also have a particular English level, which you have to prove by taking your IELTS again in that country. Within 45 weeks of the whole process, you can clear the assessment and you are eligible for the final license. Similarly, so in New Zealand in particular, I would just like to say that only students who are going for the bachelor's or master's program in pharmacy are eligible to apply for this license. If you're going for a diploma, a postgraduate diploma or a graduate diploma, you are not eligible to apply for this license. But again, there are many job opportunities other than just working as a pharmacist. So you can definitely look at those options.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Moving ahead with the license process, in UK. So, मतलब अगर तुम्हें खुद का फार्मेसी का जो लाइसेंस लगेगा वो खुद का फार्मेसी का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन खोलना है या वैसे कुछ करना है तो लगेगा, नहीं तो आइडियली इफ यू वांट टू नॉर्मली वर्क अंडर सम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन तो लाइसेंस की जरूरत नहीं है. सो स्टेप 1 इज अ यूके एक्रेडिटेड एमफार्म डिग्री. तुम मास्टर्स करोगे तो बेसिकली तुम्हें यूके एक्रेडिटेड एमफार्म डिग्री मिल जाएगी. अगर तुम डायरेक्ट यूके में जॉब के लिए जाना चाहते हो तो थोड़ी सी प्रोसेस अलग है. Okay, then 52 weeks of pre-registration training, मतलब that is basically your internship. जब हम वो फार्मास्यूटिकल काउंसिल में जब तुम्हें रजिस्टर करना होगा बेसिकली फॉर योर लाइसेंस, दैट इज द लास्ट स्टेप. उसके पहले तुम्हें एक लाइसेंस्ड फार्मासिस्ट के अंडर तुम्हें काम करना है फॉर 52 वीक्स. एंड देन बेसिकली जो रजिस्ट्रेशन एग्जाम है, हम GPHC में रजिस्टर करके हम बेसिकली वो एग्जाम देके पास होना है. दैट इज बेसिकली द लाइसेंस प्रोसेस इन यूके. Now when it comes to licensing process for Ireland, अब जब हम आयरलैंड की बात करते हैं तो ये जो नेशनल फार्मेसी इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम है, ठीक है, तो हमें सबसे पहले एमफार्म सर्टिफिकेट के बाद हमें बेसिकली एक इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम में भी पार्टिसिपेट करना है. जैसे हमने अभी काफी सारे कंट्रीज का देखा कि एमफार्म कोर्स के बाद यू विल हैव टू वर्क अंडर अ फार्मासिस्ट and you will have to work for at least a year and then basically हम वो एग्जाम में अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. सो जो फार्मास्यूटिकल सोसाइटी ऑफ आयरलैंड है उसमें हमें बेसिकली यू एज अ स्टूडेंट तुम्हें रजिस्टर करना होता है, तुम्हारी एग्जाम ली जाती है, वहां पे ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है एंड देन बेसिकली यू कैन प्रैक्टिस एज अ फार्मासिस्ट. एंड ये एग्जाम 2 बार होती है, मई एंड अक्टूबर में. सो यू कैन मतलब after completing or during your masters you can plan for this examination in this way. And when it comes to basically the license process in Europe, okay, so जब भी हम मतलब country to country process थोड़ी अलग हो जाएगी. अब क्या होता है, जब जिस दिन तुम्हें वो तुम्हारा मास्टर्स डिग्री तुम्हारी हो जाएगी, that is basically a qualification which is required. उसके बाद within 3 months हमको basically apply करना है फॉर द लाइसेंसिंग पार्ट. यहाँ पे मतलब GPHC जो हमने यूके में देखा था, सेम बॉडी है जो यहाँ पे गवर्न करती है. बट जैसे हर कंट्री का जैसे फार्मेसी काउंसिल होता है, वैसे हर कंट्री का एक रेगुलेटरी बॉडी है जो तुम्हारा पूरा जो प्रोसेस है फार्मेसी का वो लेगी एंड देन ओनली यू कैन बेसिकली प्रैक्टिस इन यूरोपियन रीजन. So this was about the license process. Now let's come to the second most important part जिसके बारे में students and parents को बहुत doubts या questions होते हैं, is the education loan and finances के options.
Yes, Akshay sir, before that I would like to launch a couple of polls.
Sure.
इतना सब हमने बोल दिया, अभी आपने आपका ड्रीम स्कूल कोर्स टारगेट कर लिया है?
So गोल तो होना ही चाहिए. That is one thing which definitely should exist.
Absolutely. इसीलिए इतने लोग यहाँ पे ये वेबिनार आज शाम को अटेंड करने आए हैं.
Agreed.
मतलब बाहर का मौसम बहुत सुहाना है पर लोग बैठ के वेबिनार सुन रहे हैं, which is a good thing. Yes. So quite a good chunk of you have actually thought about it. Nice to see this.
On the lights.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a second.
इसमें भी डेटा थोड़ा स्क्यूड मिलने के चांसेस है.
एक चीज इसमें अक्षय सर अच्छा दिख रहा है कि जो 5 पे पहले ज्यादा था ना, वो अभी कम हो गया है थोड़ा,
ओके,
वो थोड़ा
Agreed.
3
थोड़ा
की
सा
तरफ आ गया
bedspread है.
है। हाँ,
यस,
मतलब
बट
पीपल आर
जनरली वो
नाउ,
3, 4, 5 के रेंज में ही होगा, मतलब मोस्टली
हाँ, पर
वैसे।
5 काफी कम हो गया है। यस।
ओके ओके।
And one last poll from my end before Banit sir can start with his part. Yeah.
So not surprising, mildly to lot 50% consider finances as their main reason for concern of overseas studies.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I believe few of them, the 5% of them are looking more for this thing, अपना क्या बोलते हैं उसको, self financing.
PhD. PhD basically.
PhD, yes.
Okay, guys.
Yes. Akshay sir, if you
I'm
can
not seeing
share
the
your
screen.
screen.
Yeah. Akshay sir, screen we're not able to see.
Is the poll closed?
हाँ, पोल हो गया अक्षय सर,
Yes,
आपको
it
सिर्फ
is.
स्क्रीन शेयर करना है अभी।
Okay, okay,
हाँ,
okay. Is it visible now?
हाँ, कुछ
Not
तो आया
exactly.
है, कुछ तो आया है, हाँ आ गया।
Okay.
It's
Now
there.
it has come.
Thank you, Akshay sir.
Thank you. Okay, guys, in terms of financing, what happened is, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Banit. I basically look after the loan and financing bit. I head Imperial, and we have every business head who looks after every country and look at, and lead council looks at the respective country. जहाँ पे ये parents के लिए बहुत important parameter हो जाता है when we talk about not only financing your studies, but also something called return on investment. जहाँ पे when you have seen the kind of salary which you drop anywhere between $60,000 से लेके $120,000 के बीच में, depending whichever country you go for. So our efficiency or our outlook would be that the education loan as a product, or as various banks look at it, ये जो product है, it is based on your future earning potential. So इसमें all those people who are worried about their studies in terms of education loan, banks in India or across all the, हमारे पास जो there are about 15 banks who we work with through a portal called EduLoans, which is our sister company, जहाँ पे हम based on your profile, हम starting from your secured loan, secured मतलब जहाँ पे आपको collateral देना पड़े, secured, unsecured, without cosigner, हम सब टाइप के लोन आपके करा सकते हैं. So when you're looking at say financing or from the banking sector, ये major banks आपको main financial institutions 3 चीज आपकी देखती है. One देखती है कि आपका खुद का प्रोफाइल क्या है. So student profile is quite important. Obviously people in your field, students do preferred, master students are preferred over bachelor students. Marks, academics, कौन सा university जा रहे हैं, कौन से course जा रहे हैं, that is where the important thing happens. The second thing which happens is your parents profile. Now what happens is various people have various मतलब उसका कितना importance देते हैं, where that we discuss when we move across the board. So that's the parent profile. The third is the collateral profile. So these are the 3 parameters on which any bank loan is based on. Primarily, it is based on your future earning potential. So आपका parent profile is का income या फिर उसका is not the main criteria for getting you the loan. Come to look at it, various expenses, of various countries. US is about 20-25 lakhs per year. So 2 साल का course है, which is about 40 to 50 lakhs. Canada is about 12 to 18 lakhs, which is 2 साल का again course है, will be about 30, 35, 40 lakhs. Australia around 40 to 50 lakhs के आसपास, UK same 40 to 50 lakhs, Europe again 40 to 50 lakhs. This is the total cost of education, including your accommodation and including your computer, including everything. So हम ये जो बात कर रहे हैं total cost में बात कर रहे हैं. Maybe in the end you might not require the whole thing because okay, so very importantly, you guys are in the research side of things, and majority of the universities globally are funded by the respective governments in the case of medical things. So for example, इस वक्त भी जैसे यूएस में है, यूएस का मेन स्टैटिस्टिक्स मीटर जो देख रहा है वो जॉन हॉपकिंस यूनिवर्सिटी कर रहा है. it's a university which is running or leading the race for pharmaceutical development. Same thing, Oxford University. Oxford University is for is like leading the race in UK. So majority of these courses have a lot of research orientation, which will give you a lot of
So we are not able to hear you.
Banit sir, we are unable to hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
No. Yeah, now we can hear you.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah.
But when did I lose off? So somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, 15 seconds back.
Okay, sorry. So what I'm saying is that so the living cost also can be offset by working during the time of the course. So these are parameters जहाँ पे आपको ये overall burden जो ऐसे दिखता है उतना काफी हद तक नहीं होता. That is an important parameter. Now coming to the types of finances which you can avail of. Akshay, next slide please. Okay, I think there was an option slide of, okay. So in terms of coming to just to reiterate the financing bit of it, there are basically 4 people who can give you a loan. One is nationalized banks, second is private banks, third is non-banking finance corporations, fourth is international funds. And there are also banks in the US. If you have a US cosigner, अगर आपका कोई भी US green card holder या US citizen है, they can also give you a loan. Nationalized banks generally take a collateral. That is where it is important. Many countries like Australia, New Zealand, and even, for example, Canada require you to have a nationalized bank at play. Other countries such as US are a bit more lenient. You can have from NBFC, you can have from, say, a private bank, etc. So there is a variation of this. The private banks and NBFCs also give unsecured loan based on your profile. So what happens is when you are looking at your profile, your basic, if you're going for a master's program, your score, etc., is the one which is counted in. So that is critical in terms of saying for an NBFC. Now, in terms of say international funds, ये जो fund है, say for example, they are funding top 200 or top 300 schools globally. So when they are funding top 200 or 300 schools globally, they are basically, looking at only your profile. So even if your parents are retired, or even if your parents are living on, say, rental income, or your parents are currently divorced or not there, or you don't have, parents to co-sign or become guarantor of a loan, फिर भी आपको 100% लोन मिलने की उम्मीद है. ये जब हमारे टाइम में जब होता था, जब हम स्टेट, आई स्टिल रिमेंबर आई वेंट, देयर वाज ओनली वन नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक यूज्ड टू गिव, जिसको पहले एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ता था हम जा किधर रहे, उसको समझाना पड़ता था यूएस होता क्या है, ये यूके होता क्या है, उसमें यूनिवर्सिटी क्या होती है. दे हैड यूज्ड टू हैव सम लिस्ट which was only consisting of some top 20 यूनिवर्सिटीज. उन्होंने जो ब्रांच मैनेजर ने सुना होता था नाम, उसने जो 4 नाम सुने थे उसके मुताबिक वो लोन का गॉश करता था. बट दैट इज नॉट नो लॉन्गर इन प्ले. एक और चीज which has happened very recently which is beneficial to you guys is the loan sanctioning now happens from a central body, which makes it more streamlined, which makes people more aware of your loan, and you can actually look at very good effect of it. This is one thing which is very important. Now, coming to the question, there was a thing about the COVID-19 and people, how economy has affected COVID-19. Guys, for you guys, तो एकदम उल्टा हुआ है, ठीक है. Pharmacy jobs will actually go. People are in the world is in a race to produce the drugs. World is in a place to produce across the board, and every country is trying out. So as such, when you look at when we analyze the world, now this is IM statistics की ये जो dip है बड़ी short-lived dip है. It is predicted that the year 2021 will actually recover this. The second piece which happens is when people are in year 2021, you are going to pass out 2 years from year 2021, which means in the year 2023. Tab tak the corona effect in all probability will have been wiped out. There would have been no issue on this at all, and things would have moved in. The second important factor, so इसलिए आपको corona का impact for you guys, for pharmacists, if at all, it will be positive. That is what is what we at Imperial believe across the board. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. Now all of you in our lifetime, अभी क्या होता है, हम सोचा कोरोना तो कभी जिंदगी में नहीं हुआ नहीं, life changing है, this, that, everything. Okay, guys, the world has seen many earlier, pandemics is what they call it. So Black Death occurred, which was the oldest pandemic, which was the most lethal in the world. Then cholera हुआ, then flu हुआ, then HIV/AIDS हुआ, blah blah blah. ये सब हो रहे हैं. Now what I'm trying to tell you is things which are consistent are consistent. First of all, it is a worldwide event जहाँ पे इंडिया भी affected है, बाहर भी affected है. ऐसे नहीं आप इंडिया में रहेंगे तो आप बचे रहेंगे, या इंडियन इकोनॉमी इज नॉट गोइंग टू सफर, या इंडिया में whatever. But what happens is, जैसे for example, what drives an economy, the people who drive an economy is the research spending as a percentage of GDP. Now that if you see the slide, if in total, it is mainly the countries which you are looking to go. European countries, Canada, Australia, US are the countries where the research is driving the project. That is where you will be employed. So you want to be at the cutting edge of research in this thing. That is where you look at. Second, education as a percentage of GDP. Now, when education as a percentage of GDP is very critical in terms of so inclusion in GDP is very important for you to understand what is the quality of education offered by that country. These are things which do not get changed by corona or or COVID-19 at all. So this is the long-term employability जो आप देखेंगे. So wherein now that you have studied about country-wise क्या होता है, कितना cost आता है, what are the eligibility criteria, what is the kind of process for licensing, that will remain versus India. So you are taking a call whether you would want to stay, say, in India, or you would look at testing global opportunities and look at that. So this scenario, and these are all global statistics. So even the top 250 universities by employability, usme se, if you see, the majority of them are in the US. Akshay sir, can you expand the top 50 universities by employability, wherein people would want to understand that?
Sure.
So if you look at that, those are the countries like 51% of wanted you to US. US has more than 50% of the people of top employed universities by employability, followed by France, followed by Germany, followed by United Kingdom are among the other three, which is major. Australia is followed by that. So अगर आप ये सारी country देखेंगे, these are the countries which people are going to. So this is what I want to do. आपका this COVID-19 is a short-term blip. Okay, that's what it's going to be, and hope we remain that way. I have a strength in the pharmacists of the world. They will produce the drugs across the board, and they will get us out of here. It is not going to be via, sorry to say, but not via some sort of God-giving gimmick or something like that कि हम ये करते हैं, हम वो करते हैं, हम ऐसे करते हैं और ये भाग जाएगा. It is going to be pure science is going to win this battle.
मैंने controversial topic avoid करते हैं, सब pharmacy के लोग बैठे अपने पे चढ़ेंगे लोग.
ठीक है. So anyways, so that's where we are, and so guys, all of you who worried about corona, like from mildly worried, मतलब जो 3 से 5 तक थे, I hope this gives you a better perspective in terms of corona. It also gives you a better perspective in terms of loans, in terms of situation. And that's where we are. Next slide, please. Any questions, guys? If you would want, we will be happy to address them. and
Yeah,
look at
many of the questions have come in the question tab, Banit. Our counselors have actually answered almost all of them out there, and the rest we covered through the webinar as well. Akshay sir, there was one particular question which I wanted you to highlight. Someone has asked that Ireland, in the country of Ireland, internationals are not getting jobs in the pharmacy domain as such. Someone has some friend who doesn't have a job there. Could you please throw some light on that?
Yeah, so there are a plenty of pharmacy jobs definitely available, but just that जैसे किसी भी foreign country में जो placement है वो खुद से ढूंढनी होती है, on campus placement वगैरह नहीं होता, तो ये case to case थोड़ा differ कर सकता है, but yes, pharmacy jobs are available. आपके जो friend है जिनका भी एक query है, like we would like to understand like what is the situation, what has happened, and then probably we will be able to help them better.
Okay, you can
Yeah,
continue, Akshay
so
sir.
I mean,
Sorry,
Yes,
Abanit sir,
Bharat
you were
sir?
saying something?
yeah. So obviously, maybe in pharmacy, most of the drug research right now is in the public domain. It is run by private companies. You have to understand that governments, etc., like for example, even the US government is actually funding AstraZeneca by $100 million. They just paid them. So these are the private companies which are running the point, and they are purely based on caliber. So it's not going to be that you're not, it is a very sensitive item like say defense or something where maybe that you could be an issue. So guys, it's quite an open kind of a domain, wherein globally at least, the major like 80% of things are in the private sector.
Yeah, and yes, we have almost come to the end of this session. So basically, we are Imperial Overseas. We have been into this field guiding students from the past 8 to 10 years now, and the counselors who are there. So we have basically 5 offices, 3 in Mumbai and 2 in Pune. So all the counselors who are there are experienced. They have already been abroad, and we have sent a lot of students with scholarship. Some of them have already gone on full scholarship. So yes, every type of university possible, every type of country we have dealt with. So yes, this is what this is who we are. And with regards to
And this is
the
our happy
services,
this was our happy faces, the number of students who went in at the pre-departure party. Pishle saal, unfortunately, COVID-19 could not have a 2020 kind of a photo like that, but that is our happy faces. Hi.
We'll have one. We'll have one, Banit. Maybe in December we'll have one. We'll have one in December. All the pharmacy students who are out there, please get a vaccine before December so we can have similar party in December.
Yes,
A
please.
special motivation for you.
Good.
Yeah, I would just like to launch a small poll, Banit.
sure.
Okay. Quite a good number of you from the Mumbai suburbs actually.
Correct.
Okay. Continue, Akshay sir.
Yeah, and this is about our services, like as Ankur sir also discussed about the training part. So we'll be guiding you from the training part to your visa. The end-to-end process will be taken care by Imperial, like documentation, as we discussed in the eligibility part, SOP, LORs, resume. So we generally help you. We generally draft SOP and LORs for you. Obviously, you will have to provide us the input though. And यूनिवर्सिटी सिलेक्शन, शॉर्टलिस्टिंग, किधर कोर्स अच्छा है, कौन सा यूनिवर्सिटी लेना चाहिए. See, when it comes to the number of universities available abroad, there are thousands of universities in US itself. So हमें कौन सी लेनी है, या हमारे प्रोफाइल के हिसाब से हमें कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटीज मिल सकती है, and all those things. complete application assistance, finance, जैसे Banat sir ने कहा, we have our own company named as EduLoans. We'll help you through your entire financing and loan process. Travel and forex assistance, we do have travel and forex partners with us. So yes, and the visa, the last critical part, जैसे USA में visa interview होता है, so we help you prepare for your interview, we help you fill your visa forms. So जैसे right from training to your visa, we help you in all the processes possible. And these are some of our admits for the students who have been to USA, Europe, and other countries.
Here I would like to highlight, so the ones you are seeing on top are the recent ones. I mean, Akshay sir, if you can take it further as well. So some of the students who have gone in, like say 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017 for the master's curriculum, some of them, I would not say all of them, but a good number of them have actually, after completing the master's, converted into PhD as well. And a good number of these students that you see, even for their masters, they were fully funded for this course. So this course is a I mean, this is such a specialized research-based field that many students get full funding through this course.
And since actually there is such a huge demand for these kind of students to work in the research field, but not many apply for this program, for these kind of programs. So I think getting research, getting funding from the university becomes a bit easier.
Yeah, so these yes,
Again, we are some of the few. Yeah, we are some of the few counselors who know this field quite well, and we have sent students, as you can see, in the past few years. These are also not all the students. These are some of the students whom we have sent. I mean, wherein we just don't cater to engineers per se. We cater to students from different domains, including pharmacy. That's why we are taking the webinar today. So these are our students who have actually gone in the past.
Yeah, and this is our Facebook page and our Instagram handle. So we do a couple of live Facebook and Instagram live sessions as well. So Instagram live sessions are quite popular and quite regular as well. So you can follow us on Imperial_overseas on Instagram.
Akshay sir, सब लोग Instagram पे, don't worry.
Yeah.
आज के दिन में कोई Facebook पे हो ना हो, पर Instagram पे पक्का है.
हाँ.
Yeah. तो हम लाइव सेशंस करते हैं यूनिवर्सिटी के साथ, हमारे स्टूडेंट्स के साथ, डिफरेंट फील्ड्स के स्टूडेंट्स है, डिफरेंट यूनिवर्सिटीज है. सो यू कैन बेसिकली गेट द नॉलेज कि वहां पे क्या चल रहा है, कैसे चल रहा है, right from USA, Europe, Canada, Australia. We do live sessions everywhere across the globe. And yes, these are basically our contact details. So as mentioned earlier, we have 5 branches, 3 in Mumbai and 2 in Pune. So definitely reach out to us with regards to your queries. Also, you will be receiving a call from our end in a day or two. And if you have any doubt, please let us know, and we are there to help you out.
Yeah, and with regards to questions, most of the questions, our senior counselors and us, we have answered in the webinar as well as in the question section. So yeah, so everyone, thank you for being a patient audience. Hope to see you soon in the office. Like our office. Yeah, HK ma'am, you were saying something?
I would just like to say that I was just going through the questions that our students have posted, and there are like some really good questions, very wide range of questions, right from finances to PhD to what country is better for what and stuff like that. So through this PPT, through this webinar, of course, we were able to give you information at a basic level, just giving you a basic idea about pharmacy and allied fields in all these countries. But for specific questions, like if you have questions with regards to your CGPA and how much is required to get where and stuff like that, please feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to reach out to us directly, like you want to talk to Hiren sir directly, you want to talk to Sonali ma'am directly for Canada, you want to talk to me for Australia, New Zealand, you want to talk to Akshay sir for UK or any other European country, please feel free to reach out to us. You have these numbers here. Just ask anyone to give you our direct numbers. We are happy to talk to any of you at any given point. We are available on WhatsApp, emails, phones. We would be very, very
Video
happy
call.
to answer video calls nowadays. To
We
the
are even
most,
available on Instagram actually.
Yes, we are available on Instagram. If you go to the Imperial page, you will find all of us there. You will find our direct profiles. So feel free to message us anywhere. And the most important part is that, right now we were able to address you, but we would be very happy to also address your parents. So wherever you feel that we need your parents need to get some clarity or some understanding about education abroad or finances or visas or whatever it is, we would be happy to do that. So for the smallest of queries, please feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah, and for all of you, our offices, all of the 5 offices are open on appointment basis to maintain social distancing, but we are open. Okay, so if you want to meet us personally as well, we are available in the office. You can call any of these numbers to fix up an appointment at that respective office. We'll be there for you. Don't worry. Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone, thank you for being a patient audience, and yeah, have a great weekend. Weekend starts tomorrow, day after. I mean, abhi to actually sab weekend weekday almost ek hi ho gaya, but yeah, the so-called weekend begins tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Who are
Guys,
Thank you,
this is just
everyone.
the start. Reach out to us for all queries. Thank you.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.